All right, hi Kansas City. This is the crossover with LaToya Valerio. This is where I use basketball as a crossover to impact communities, promote education, and develop leaders. The summer series focuses on former Keys participants. If you haven't, please check out my first interview with my former teammates, Danielle Adams and Shalisa Wings. This series is to promote the Casey Keys 2020 alumni celebration this October 9th through the 11th. Also to begin the process of gaining funds to build or acquire a gym. All right, today we have with us some oldies but goodies. And I can say that because they're like my brothers. So today I'm joined with Kelvin Ray Parker and Terrell Mills. So welcome to the crossover. You can unmute yourself. Thanks for being here with me. To just start us off, you guys say your name, high school, college you went to, and the number of years you played for the Keys.
Go ahead, T. I went to Raytown High School. Let me see. I played with the Keys for I say like almost 6 years. Off and on. And I can say that I'm the only Keys player that hit the game-winning shots in 2 championships back to back.
That's probably true. Kelvin Parker, Raytown South High School, undefeated versus Raytown and Terrell in high school. Let's add that in there. And then I started playing with the Keys probably about 7 years old until we disbanded. Until we, broke apart in high school or whatever. That's the upwards of 9-10 years, something like that.
And what college did you go to, Ray?
I went to Northwest Missouri State up in Maryville, Missouri. And then, yeah.
All right. So each time on here, I try to show y'all something from your past. So I found this picture.
I'll do it like that, too.
It's so Ray.
I'm not in that picture.
You right here for everybody watching. This is Ray.
I'm not in that picture.
Them goggles, the trophy look bigger than you. But this was the 1994 12 and under boys basketball BCI championships, and this year y'all took first.
It was in Minnesota.
In Minnesota.
That's where he was referencing game-winning shots where we beat Saginaw Pride in the championship. And we had lost to them in the first round of pool play, and then came back to beat them. And then the next year we beat, it was like TC somebody in the championship.
Oh, wow. See, I was too young. At that time, I was like 5 or 6 years old. So I was
right.
With Carl.
I remember because I had free tickets to the game. I did a lot of watching. That was the last 5 minutes.
That's funny. So just to start us off, so what are some of your memories? So maybe thinking back to that year. How old were y'all? About middle school age?
6th grade.
Yeah, 6th grade, maybe going to 7th grade. What are some of your greatest memories with the Keys? Because this was a stacked house. I don't know if y'all want to say everybody's name who was on here.
So starting from the left in the white shirt, that's my father, Kelvin Sr., and then I'll go across the front row. Number 2, Thomas Vincent, played at Olathe East, Utah State, and Emporia State. DeAndre Johnson, number 32, played at Drury and then finished up at Rolla. Also on the Keys board now, that's Toy's brother. That's myself, Kelvin Parker, Raytown South, and then Northwest Missouri State. Thomas Williams, I don't think he played in high school. Brandon Mays, he went to Hickman, and I don't think he played as a senior. Marco Wilson, so the coach on the right, Harold Johnson, one of the original Keys, Harold Johnson Jr., Toya's father. And then next to him, you got Marco Wilson, played at Hickman Mills, and then he attended Mo West. Jeff Graves, who attended Lee Summit High School, Iowa Central JUCO, finished up at Kansas University. Terrell Mills, Raytown High School, finished up as starting DN and started the defensive end trend at Missouri University. Paul Johnson attended Park Hill University. And now, if you guys are looking for somebody in Orange Theory, go see Paul up north. Prentice Potts, who attended Shawnee Mission North, did a year or two at JUCO, finished at Southwest Baptist, and then has also joined the military and is now doing some work coaching a lot of the youth with Team KC. So that's the rundown of the team.
Yeah, that's like a stacked team.
Yeah, it was stacked. It was stacked.
Really,
like,
it was. And I feel
and it's
like
crazy. It's crazy. One of the best players that played basketball the longest is the player that didn't play that much. You know, so man, that just shows you know if you keep working hard at it, you know you can achieve anything.
Yes, he's referring to Ray, who's joining us. Ray was that little pimp squeak, and then in college he grew muscles and played overseas.
Muscles and grew.
Play Ray overseas.
I played 13 years overseas. I retired in 2017. Went freshman college. I was able to play in 9 or 10 different countries. Sometimes I think it's 10, but very, very lucky. And for me, it did start with the keys because our practices were very intense. And, you know, for me, being the smallest guy, I was thrown in some situations of adversity because everybody was bigger at the time. Everybody was taller, just as quick, but faster because they were longer. So it built some character and it put me in some situations of adversity to where I was either going to make it or break it. And, you know, there were times I broke down, but bent, but I didn't break. So I'm very grateful for that. And that starts with those coaches right there and that team right there, because that was our first national championship and for that program. And that's not saying that the previous guys didn't have success. They just hadn't reached. We were the culmination of their previous success. We just put it together and were able to finish it completely.
Yeah, I understand that. That's what I had mentioned to my teammates. It took some years of grinding to get to where we were. And then once we had the perfect storm, you know, we were able to have great success. So yeah, just keeping on with that. In here, it's kind of depicting my next question. Both of you are special or unique to me because you both play with my oldest brother, Pierre, and then both of your brothers played with my middle brother, Damo. And so I just want you to just kind of talk about how was the Keys program like a family. And then as you see, Mr. Parker coached alongside my dad. So how is this program more like a family than just a basketball team?
I mean, I say it's like family because, I mean, we used to spend a lot of time with each other. I mean, I remember coming over y'all house, like, we used to always be over there, like, with, like, multiple people. And I remember I used to cook at y'all house. And, I mean, just being together, like, all the time. Like, what really sticks out to me is Minnesota, our second year, when we got to be with your grandfather. And, I know it was real important to your dad to get him the championship. And so I mean, it was just fun, like, cause I didn't know your grandfather before then. You know, I seen him, but you know, I heard he was, you know, a good coach. But like when he coached us, like we wanted him to keep coaching us because he was just a good motivator and he knew how to get the best out of you. And I mean, you know, you could just tell by his experience, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, and I think it helped that some of them started to grow and become more athletic. And you know, for those that know, your grandfather liked to play a very up-tempo style. And, you know, his quote was push it, push your ball. That's how he he yelled that on the sideline. So that was very inspirational for us because it was like, let's run. And you know, there was really I'm not going to say there was no mess ups, but it was like, let's play fast. And at 12 and 13, you're going to have mess ups. But at the same time, you're going to cause some mess ups from the other team. And with doing that, man, it allowed us to get out. So for me, you know, as you can see, I can name off everybody on there. and then the relationships have been able to be maintained over the years. So that to me is why it's deeper than just basketball, because all of us have stopped playing basketball, but yet when we see each other, we have fun. You know, I just saw Prentice Potts last weekend, and it was like we were 12 years old again, cracking jokes, acting silly, and doing so. And my little brother was there, and he was like, "Man, y'all two act like kids still," because it's that's what it was. And he spent many weekends at my house, and we just, I mean, it was an open door, meaning like, all right, this week, can we spend the night at Pierre's? Can we spend the night at at Ray's? We didn't get to stay at Terrell because he had a sister that was close in our age. So Miss Keisha wasn't allowing that. So Terrell wasn't allowing it. It was like Brandon Mays. Brandon got to stay at the house, or Thomas, but it wasn't a bunch of y'all coming over there. And so it was an open door policy. And I say that because when we did travel the second time and the first time, we got to go eat at your cousin's house. I think it was your cousin. And she cooked for us. I don't know if you remember that. She cooked for us, and it was like a little townhouse duplex. It wasn't no mansion. It wasn't no, but how we all made it work and fit in there. It was truly like a Thanksgiving and a true appreciation for her, for us coming to our city, and then from us to go in there and be appreciative and act like we had some sense and be appreciative.
Oh, you talk about we had the turkey legs?
Yeah, when she cooked that, remember she cooked?
Yeah.
I remember I ate chicken. I think I ate some chicken, she cooked like some chicken. She had fish. She had a bunch of stuff. And it was like a good old barbecue, but we wasn't at a park, and it was middle of August in Minnesota, so it was a real good time. And from that standpoint, it just showed you like we really are a band of brothers. And so as we've grown and Facebook has helped us connect and stay connected, but we ran into each other in various events. And so for me, now that Terrell's doing other things, if I need a DJ, that's the first person I'm calling. And I mean, it helps that he's, my brother, but it's even better that he does a great job when he comes. And he has a wide range of music that he can play. He's not a one-stop shop. So, by him growing and adding some diversity and things to him, man, he's been able to blossom. And stuff like that helps us stay connected.
Yeah. That's very true. Because Terrell was DJ at my wedding, and Solomon did the video. And if I need somebody, I know I can call one of my many brothers. Shoot, more than I can call my own brother. So sometimes, say the truth is the truth. But yeah, that is. I am appreciative that the Keys have been a family, because I have the same stories with my teammates that I played with. We're still banding together. And it's just good to hear that that's like a generational thing. It wasn't just with my team. Okay, so moving on. AAU basketball looks totally different. Most people won't even know what BCI is, because they didn't have BCI when I was playing. But just what are your opinions or thoughts about the current state of AAU sports, particularly basketball? And so what are some similarities and differences, or maybe things you like, or things that you think could improve?
I don't know. It seems like it's real different now. Like back then, like you had guys, fathers coaching, or I mean, they might not even have a son on the team, but they were just doing it for the love of the game and really just trying to help a lot of young cats out. It seems like now it's more of a business. I mean, we were all kind of like less fortunate. So back then, we had to do fundraisers, and like all the time, like selling trash bags, doing everything we could. But now it just seems like it's just totally different. A lot of political, like certain teams can't replace each other, depending on like who you sponsor by and everything. But back then it was just wide open. We were just able to compete, wherever we could. It just seems like it to me now, just being a parent, with my daughter and stuff. Like had to pay like for, like a lot, just to practice, now. So what you think, right?
Well, I think, I was able to coach last year on the 16 circuit, and so the shoe companies have become more powerful. And part of that has changed because the players in the NBA are more powerful. And, you know, before the coaches could say whatever they wanted, do whatever they wanted, and they kind of ran the show. But now with the player becoming such a powerful entity, they can't, you know, the shoe companies have become more powerful. Therefore, they got to get their hands in this thing earlier. You know what I mean? Like Zion Williamson, and he didn't sign with them, but you was hearing about this dude that's 15, 16, 17. The power of the internet has made this different. You know, I told my son, I'm like, dude, we didn't have cell phones in middle school. We didn't have cell phones in high school. The internet really didn't start popping until, you know, like Wi-Fi and all of that, 2002, 2003 and all of that. You was paying for all of this stuff. So I think with the help of the internet, it's changed the game in the sense of if a kid dunks on somebody in Atlanta, you're seeing it in Kansas City minutes later. So AAU has changed in that I don't know anybody that plays AAU. We still call it that, but it's just like, oh, are you on the circuit? Which circuit are you on? Are you in the Under Armour, Rise? Are you in the Adidas Gauntlet? Are you on the Nike Peach Jam or whatever? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's changed because the shoe companies have dominated it versus AAU, BCI. Those were the organizations that had been around for years. My father played AAU and my uncles back in the 70s once they finished high school. And now you really don't hear about AAU unless it's like karate or something like that. But it's much different because the shoe companies have a bigger hand in it. The internet has made it more of a business, I guess you could say. And and what Terrell said was, our fathers did this. They weren't getting paid a dime. Now, you could look at it and say the payout was 8 out of those 10 kids ended up with scholarships somewhere. You know what I mean? And there were some pieces that changed. You know, Solomon was added and some of them. But that was the payout for them. Now, some of these coaches are getting paid to coach kids. You know, another thing I add is we used to practice at Central Middle School. Now these schools aren't giving the gyms because of lawsuits, because of, you know, one bad apple has spoiled it for the whole. You know, you got to pay to go practice at these gyms. You got to pay $200 for the gym. So now you got to charge the parents. And so it's a roundabout thing. You know, they say money makes the world go round, and it's showing that. But I also think I'm not gonna call everybody greedy, but there's greed because everybody wants to be noticed. Everybody wants their little, you know, well, I did this for you, and it's like, okay, you know, what was your motivation? Is it money, or is it kindness, or what is it? And I can truly say that those guys weren't getting paid, and it was coming from the kindness of their heart. Granted, their sons were on the team, but my dad's son wasn't even playing that much. So it was, you know, it was coming out of the kindness of their heart. And, you know, one of the biggest paybacks for me is when them dudes see my father and they, you know, they get excited and they can share stories of what's going on. Sorry, my little one's there.
I have to agree too. It is fill you up when you run into people. Maybe you remember their names or you don't, but you know that they were connected because of what your dad did. That's why I love this organization. I think it's bigger than just myself because you guys are the keys. Like you guys were part of that seed that was planted, and now we're getting to see the fruits of that labor. And hopefully, you know, we just keep multiplying. And you guys know that we've done the Keys tournament in February, and that's something that I hope, I mean, the current state of tournaments are totally different now. They're mostly for profits and not really to showcase talent and have a winner. You can go to tournaments now and don't even have a champion. So hopefully we figure out how to finagle in the market to get that back on because we want everybody to come in. Like you said, it's like a community thing. If you have a good product and you got a good character behind it, it could spread in lots of ways. So definitely agreed with a lot of your points. All right, you guys know that we're like in a social climate of injustice, heavily directed towards Black men. And you both are educated, hardworking Black men and athletes. What role do you think sports, maybe basketball, what role does it play to help bridge the gap between races, classes, and law enforcement.
You said between what's the three things you said?
Or between like the races, maybe class divisions of social economic and law enforcement. How does basketball in those areas?
I don't know, like I mean, like I could just speak from my experience. Like when I played like on other teams, like that wasn't geared, towards like a lot of black players. I mean, like it enabled me to like be a part of different cultures and see how they live. I had a lot of Caucasian teammates on, some of my other teams, and I mean, some of them was rich, like on car dealerships and things of that nature. So, I mean, I'm sure racism was around, like, when we went to like some of those tournaments and play against other teams and whoop them up. But like, I really didn't see a lot of it as far as like, being on a team with guys. I mean, it seemed like if we was on a team, like, I mean, them was still my brothers, just like if I was playing with the keys. But I'm sure, right, you probably got more, playing overseas and, seeing stuff like that.
Yes and no. I think the reason why sports are so valuable is because it allows everybody, all backgrounds, to have one common goal, which is to cheer for your team and watch your team win. And so for those 2 hours or that hour and a half or 3 hours, we all are on the same page. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think sports are so valuable. And with America, we always have a sport in season. Right now, we're missing baseball, you know what I mean? And even if you look at the Yankees, that's one of the biggest and most prominent teams in America. You'll see an Asian guy with a Yankee hat. You'll see a black dude. You'll see a white, a white guy. You'll see these people wearing those hats because they're all rooting for the team. So sports brings a unity, and it brings a kind of a connecting point for different communities. And it doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank, because we want the Yankees to win. Now, the problem with that is that some people still see it as like, almost like with Jackie Robinson. That black guy plays for the Yankees, or that black guy, LeBron James. And that's the sad part, is rather than just see LeBron James, number 23 for the Lakers, you see that black guy, then it's LeBron James. You know what I mean? And it shouldn't be that way, not at this point in 2020. So with that being said, it's going to take everybody doing their part and just educating someone next to them a little further. And I think that's what's going to help. But I think sports is the blend all, and it just helps kind of erase some of those lines. And I'm cheering with my friend, another Yankees guy or another Chiefs guy. You know what I mean? So that's the beauty of sports. And I mean, and to Terrell's point, yes, as a young kid, you know what I mean? I grew up, I went to Race South. I have friends of other races and stuff like that. But you really don't understand what they do and how they do it until you're able to go to those houses. Sports allowed us to openly go to that person's house, to openly see, oh, okay, like you get to do this before you have to clean up, or you get to do that before you have to play, And so it was different, and it was not saying one was better than the other, but it was just eye-opening. And as a now man, it gave me some different points to maybe how I parent today. So, just different things like that.
I like what you said about it being a connecting point, and that we just need to take the time to educate someone next to us. We can do that. We can. I think we all can do our part and be responsible for that. Okay, so just to kind of end this, how have the keys impacted you? And before you guys finish your answer, I want you guys to kind of shout out the companies that you run. Ray, I know you're a business owner, and then Terrell, you do your music. So before you guys finish saying that, please, shout out your companies and promote yourselves. So, so the question was, how has the keys impacted you? And that could be family life, social life. What ways do you see that the keys had an impact on you?
I'll go first. I know I'm gonna be short, so I'm not wait time. But I think it's impacted me because I got a long-lasting relationship with all these guys. Like, I mean, like, Ray was overseas playing for like 10 years. And, I mean, he came back or whatever, and we hooked up, and it was just like yesterday. And I mean, just being able to network with everybody, everybody's doing different things. You know, Ray's doing this dog training. I mean, like Thomas is doing investments. I mean, everybody's doing something different. So it's good to have that network as well as the coaches. Like Coach Johnson, he would call me like 3 times this week. Like, you know, dealing with stuff that he deals with as far as his investments properties and stuff like that. So, I mean, I just loved it. I mean, it was a good family environment. I was glad that I was a part of it. It makes me, you know, want to coach, you know, my kids or whatever and give back. And so, like, I really appreciate everything they did for us because, like I said, it was totally different back then. They wasn't getting paid, and these guys was putting in a lot of hours. I mean, a lot of hours, you know, like practicing with us. And I mean, this was for years. This wasn't just like, you know, 1 or 2 year thing. Like these guys was there when we was kids until we grew up. I mean, they still there now. So, I mean, I really appreciate all the coaches. I let all of them know, you know, why they all stood here. I mean, that the impact that they have on my life as far as, you know, being respectful, everything. It's lifehood lessons that I've learned, you know, that I still keep with me now. So impact. Also, the companies I run, I have a catering, you know, like events or whatever. Also, I do my DJ thing. It's called Miller on the Track Production. You know, I do events, weddings, DJ clubs, anything, family reunions, whatever.
DJ Miller. So for me, Keys is impacted. Obviously, like we spoke on and continuously bring it up, the brotherhood. I mean, my son, my oldest son, he's 12, Kelvin the third. He plays for Pierre. You know, he plays with the Keys, and so Pierre's son, you know, is playing together. So it's just a coincidence that we're born the same time, our kids around the same age, and they're competing in the same way, you know. And they run into the same things that we run into as far as like the funding, the backing, and stuff like that. You know, and so it's just up to them to kind of carry on their legacy as far as to start, you know, trying to win some tournaments and do things like that to help push that name, to help further that name for the next generation. Like his little brother who's been shooting everything.
Mm-hmm. That's Parker right there.
So my company name is called KPK9. It was started when I got back, when I retired from playing. And I retired in May. We started it up like in June or July basically of 2017. And you know, it's what they call it, mnemonic device, KP. My name is Kelvin Parker. But it also stood for continuous progress because like dog training, like any other thing, when I used to train kids, it was called continuous progress, insinuating we're all continuously working and progressing towards our goals. And so I changed the C to a K for the initials so that you remember it. But it's just saying, like, you know, in like life, you never stop training this dog. You got to continuously either touch up on it, you know, practice with them or something like that. Because if you're not using it, you might lose it. So that was the idea. That was the reason behind that. But I've always had a love for dogs. I get a lot of questions like, man, I didn't know you know, anything about dogs. But, you know, I remember Pierre and them having a dog back on 1912. Not Norton. It was on Wabash, 29th and Wabash. Wolf. Wasn't that his name? Wolf.
I think it was before me.
Yeah, so I think he was just born. So, yeah, over there on Wabash, they had a dog. Thomas had a couple dogs. But for me, yeah, I think the biggest thing is just that we all stay in touch. And I mean, even though, you know, the years there were a couple years where we didn't talk as much, but I was able to play against Pierre and Thomas in college. You know, they both transferred into the conference. And for me, you know, it was a way for me to get them back, not in a mean way, but it was like, y'all about to see that I've been working and it ain't little Ray no more. It's y'all got to pay for just beating up on me when I was smaller. And so you know, I played a little harder against them. And then, you know, in the fall on Saturdays, I'm watching Terrell, you know, kill at Mizzou when he was playing in the Big 12. So, you know, little stuff like that, man. I'm truly rooting for my brothers. I just saw Thomas last week. He came over to my house and we were talking investing. So things like that. I think we lost Terrell. I think his phone died. But I mean, little things like that, man, have been just instrumental. But the relationships were formed when I was 10 or 12 years old. We just don't always have the foresight at that time to say, man, I'm gonna really be talking to this dude for the rest of my life. And, you know, I thank our parents for that. I really want to shout out them because without them allowing these things, people to spend the night, people to letting us go somewhere, letting people come over, you know, regardless of their financial status, we might not have the same strength in these relationships that we do today.
I really like that. And that it was the purpose of the alumni celebration is to kind of bring us all back together so we can have those memories, relive those memories and create more memories for the future. Because like I said, it's just bigger than my grandfather, my dad, and then his kids. It's a lot of, our web is reached really wide and really could be nationwide that we have reached or been places and kind of sowed seeds. So, and international, with you playing overseas. So, yeah, hopefully we don't know exactly what's going to happen. For my next interview, I'll have a final say if it's going to go forth, but we will be doing an alumni celebration soon because I know you guys would want to have a gym, a place to come to see your pictures of, a place where your kids can play, your kids' kids, so we can just keep that legacy going. I just want to, I think we can just wrap it up here. And I thank you, Ray and Terrell, for just joining me. For those watching, please go to www.kckids.org and you can find all the videos. Please like, share, or follow, whatever it is that people do, Facebook, Instagram. Please share and spread the word. So that will be it. So thank you guys for joining me.
Good. Thank you for having us. It was a pleasure. And I hope that, you know, you guys are, and we are continue to grow and be a positive influence in the city and the community.
Yeah, I like to say, you know, thank you, Toya, you know, for continuing on the legacy. That's big. That's big stuff. You know, you the baby. You took it over. You know what I'm saying? So kudos to you.
Oh, thank you. It's the smart.
Big shoes for Miss Myrtle. Come on, Mert.
You can't get past Ray. Oh gosh, I need to have your daddy and Mr. Woodard on one day.
Oh, good luck. That's gonna be number one, jack it up, and two, fall asleep. So we can work on it. We can set it up. We can work on it.
All right. All right. Well, I'm going to show a screen and then I'll end it for us. So thank you.
All right, show that picture one more time.
Oh, okay. Okay. These are the champs right here. Terrell was hit the game-winning shot, just to let everybody know.
Oh, we went back to back too, though. Don't let them think that we didn't.
All right. I think I got that somewhere here. That's right somewhere.
I think we need to take a picture. We need to take the picture all in the same positions.
Yeah, definitely. So a part of the alumni celebration, we want to do an alumni game. So, you know, y'all need to start stretching.
First off,
right. Terrell working out, so I mean,
we don't want Terrell hurting them knees. We don't want that. My man, hey, he came out a couple years ago at the barbecue, at my birthday barbecue.
Yeah.
He played.
I don't want my guy getting hurt, man.
Right.
But this is the class of 2000 Kansas City Keys. Make sure they know that.
Yes, 2000. Because yes, y'all all graduated 2000. Especially.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.